What is going on, everyone? First and foremost, I want to say thank you for being here right now, watching this video. I do really appreciate your time, and I would really appreciate if you do consider subscribing to the channel, simply because it truly does help me out a lot. Now we're going to be reacting to breaking news: Gervonta Davis versus Shakur Stevenson fight officially confirmed, man. But overall, on a real note though, Gervonta Davis just does have a lot of options on the table. You know what I mean? He's arguably the face of boxing. He can almost pretty much fight anybody who he wants to fight at this point in his career, if I'm going to be 100% honest. You know what I mean? But overall, I heard, a lot of people are on the table. You know what I mean? Even Vasily Lomachenko. I heard Gervonta Davis wants to fight Vasily Lomachenko. There's Shakur Stevenson on the table as well, and a whole bunch of other people, you know what I mean? But overall, there's people saying if Gervonta Davis had to fight Shakur Stevenson or Vasily Lomachenko, it would 100% be Vasily Lomachenko, simply because compared to Shakur Stevenson, he's a pay-per-view draw. You get what I mean? Shakur is not really a pay-per-view draw compared to Vasily Lomachenko. You get what I mean? So I don't know, man. Overall, we never really know, but at the end of the day, man, I'm not going to do too much talking. Just going to let the video play. Then I'll share the rest of my opinion at the end of the video.
Tank Davis is not going to fight him, Teddy. You know that. He knows that. Tank Davis is not going to fight him.
No, I just put Tank Davis out there. But he's not the only guy. He's not the only guy that you could put out for the kind of fight that the fans want to see, a talented fighter like him.
Shakur Stevenson is becoming increasingly frustrated with Gervonta Davis and the delay in arranging their highly anticipated showdown.
He just jumped back. You never see him slip no punch. You never see him slip no punch. Go look at it. You see him back up from a lot of people. Back up, move around.
Well, now we can be sure that this fight will happen.
35? 35, 40, I don't know. I could see it happening not too far in the future.
Really?
Yeah. I think Tank will sign that contract. Dang. And I'm going to sign a contract too. So
with a time frame being confirmed by all who could make the fight happen.
Hey, he hating. You know what I mean? Like, he hating. I got the opportunity he wanted. So it's just coming from hate.
As Stevenson gears up to face Artem Harutyunyan on July 6th at the Prudential Center in Newark, New Jersey, headlining an ESPN event, Davis is celebrating his win after knocking out Frank Martin. Stevenson, known for his confidence and skill in the ring, is focused on his upcoming fight with Harutyunyan. Despite Harutyunyan's recent loss to Martin, Stevenson is not underestimating his opponent and aims to dominate the bout. However, his sights remain firmly set on a future encounter with Davis, which Stevenson views as a massive fight in his career and for the division as a whole.
He the best at. He didn't even fight at 135 yet.
Right.
He didn't even have power at 126, 30, or none of that.
He is good.
At 26 years old, Stevenson sees Davis's age of 30 as a point of contention, questioning why Davis has not yet faced the elite fighters he claims he will fight. How many times is he going to say he is going to fight an elite fighter and not fight them, Stevenson said. He is 30 years old now. Bro is 30, talking about he is going to fight me. He said next, okay, well, do it.
How can he say Tank should have fought De Los Santos, a guy that he just beat, right? He should have faced him over me, but he going to fight a guy I beat. What type of sense that make?
Stevenson's frustration stems from a perceived lack of significant fights despite his impressive resume, which includes titles in 3 divisions and unified world champion status in the junior lightweight division. He criticizes the delays in making high-profile matchups happen, especially concerning Davis. Are you really going to fight me, or just going to keep saying what you are going to do to somebody? Stevenson challenged Davis. Shut up and fight me.
Fight you. Gervonta Tank Davis, let's make the fight happen, man. I'm tired of tweeting. I'm tired of talking about it. Stop ducking me and let's make the fight happen, man. Come on.
In Stevenson's view, the process of arranging a fight with Davis should be straightforward. All you gotta do is send an offer, he stated, Acknowledging Davis's status as the more recognized fighter, Stevenson emphasized his readiness and willingness to step into the ring. "You are the A side, I know. I am not saying I am the A side. You're the person with all the notoriety, however it goes, but I am right here though. I am not going nowhere. As soon as you say let's fight, I am right here, let's fight."
Guy, man, I think Tank at this point he's unbeatable at the lightweight division against any of the world champions. I think he's the top guy right now at that division.
Stevenson also expressed disappointment with Frank Martin, who withdrew from a scheduled fight for the vacant WBC lightweight title last November, which Stevenson eventually won against Edwin de los Santos. Stevenson questioned Martin's elite status and criticized him for not following through on their planned bout. "What did Frank Martin do to be elite?" Stevenson said, clearly not happy that Frank got to fight Tank before him. "Frank Martin is a dude who signed up to fight me, got famous for signing up to fight me, and then didn't fight me."
Frank, but and I'm not trying to disrespect Frank, because Frank, I heard him say in the interview that I was hating on him. I'm really not. I don't got really nothing to hate on him. I wish him nothing but the best too, but
it now seems that we are not waiting for this fight for too long. The fight between Shakur and Tank has already been confirmed and slated for summer 2024. Despite previous delays and frustrations expressed by Stevenson over securing this fight, the momentum now suggests that the bout is on the brink of realization.
3 people in the world that I think that could beat Tank. That would be Devin, that would be Shakur, and Tank Davis himself.
You got the last one right. That's the only person that could beat me, Gervonta Davis.
Now, while the specific exact date is not mentioned, we know that we're going to see another Tank knockout soon. Well, or whoever wins really. But from what we do know, we will see Davis and Stevenson go head-to-head over 12 rounds, adhering to the lightweight division's 135-pound weight limit. This matchup has captured the attention of the boxing world, offering a showdown between 2 of the sport's most skilled and promising talents.
I told you it's a 50-50 fight.
Ain't no 50-50 fight, nigga. How you gonna keep me off and you ain't got no power?
For Shakur Stevenson, who has voiced impatience with the delays in facing Davis, the impending fight represents a big moment in his career.
But there's the thing, Tank Davis can fight a guy who they picked up all from the diner. He knocks him out. Oh, it's great because he knocked him out. You know what I mean? But Shakur will fight a dangerous guy who's a puncher, beat him a little bit less impressively, and all of a sudden, oh no, we don't care about it. We don't want to see him. Okay, so then we'll get him diner workers too.
Even Bob Arum has come in to convince us why this fight is bound to be bigger than we expect. And it's not just Bob Arum. We also saw Leonard giving in to the idea of Tank facing Stevenson, promising another knockout for Tank, with Leonard Ellerby throwing his support behind the upcoming bout, and promoter Bob Arum also showing interest. The long-awaited showdown between Gervonta Davis and Shakur Stevenson is now eagerly anticipated to be finalized for summer 2024.
Sure, we're looking for fighters that are competitive with Shakur.
Despite initial speculations about Davis potentially facing Vasyl Lomachenko, Stevenson's co-manager Josh Dubin has strongly defended his fighter's position as a significant draw in boxing, particularly challenging Arum's recent comments. In a critical response to Arum's assertion that Lomachenko represents a more lucrative option for Davis due to his ability to attract viewers and sell tickets, Dubin labeled the reasoning as nonsensical. He pointed out Stevenson's consistent high viewership ratings on ESPN and impressive ticket sales record, particularly highlighting events where Stevenson has filled arenas such as the United Center in Newark. Dubin argued Shakur has been consistently one of the highest rated fighters on their roster anytime he fights on ESPN. The only time he didn't pull one of the higher ratings is when they had him fight on a Thursday night and tried to convince us, because of the Formula One race, that was going to be the biggest event in the world. Shakur didn't even want to do it. He said, "They're not going to be able to fill the arena." Furthermore, Dubin criticized the handling of Stevenson's career by his current promoters, suggesting a reluctance to arrange significant fights, possibly due to contractual negotiations or priorities. He emphasized Stevenson's desire to face the best in his division, including Davis, Lomachenko, and Baranchik, pointing out that Stevenson's aspirations have not been adequately supported by promotional efforts. Shakur wants the biggest fights, Dubin reiterated, And I understand they can't force people to fight him, but to give the explanation that they're not trying to negotiate a Tank Davis fight because Shakur isn't the draw is just nonsense. Stevenson, with an impressive professional undefeated record, has showcased his skills across multiple weight divisions, holding titles at featherweight and junior lightweight.
People that can actually hit, no matter all that boxing, you're going to get hit. What you gonna do when you get hit?
Despite a lackluster performance in his last bout against Edwin de los Santos, Stevenson remains undeterred in seeking significant challenges that could elevate his status in the sport. Dubin's criticism extended to the comparative treatment of Stevenson against other fighters, particularly noting the ease with which potential fights for lesser-known opponents like Baranchyk could be arranged, contrasting sharply with the perceived hurdles in setting up a Davis matchup. There's 3 fights that Stevenson wants: Lomachenko, Tank, and Baranchyk, Dubin emphasized. Those are the fights he wants. He's been pleading for those fights, and they could make the Baranchyk fight at the snap of a finger right now. So Stevenson's team asserts that he is more than capable of drawing significant viewership and fan support, challenging the narrative that he lacks the appeal to secure high-profile fights.
You know, Shakur is a very talented, skillful, technique fighter.
Yeah.
You know, can't take anything away from it. However, scared to get hit. Scared to get knocked out in front of the world.
With negotiations progressing and both fighters expressing interest, the imminent announcement of the Davis versus Stevenson clash for summer 2024 signals a potential breakthrough moment for Stevenson as he seeks to solidify his place among the elite in boxing. But we can all agree that the reason this fight hasn't happened is because Shakur is, well, not that lucrative in the eyes of Tank. But apart from Bob Arum's convincing that Shakur can bring hefty gains, Shakur has tried to market himself too.
You know, who I'm fighting. You know, like, come on, like, the money there, I wasn't feeling that. If it would have been more money, I would have took that.
In an interesting interview with Brian Custer on Showtime Sports, Shakur Stevenson delved into the complexities and frustrations of securing high-profile fights in his boxing career. Stevenson did not also hold back in discussing his views on potential matchups, including the highly anticipated yet elusive fight against Gervonta "Tank" Davis. When asked about the much anticipated fight against Frank Martin, which was scheduled for November in Las Vegas for the WBC lightweight title, Stevenson provided a blunt assessment of why the fight fell through. "I think that Frank Martin got cold feet," Stevenson said. "Before the fight, it sounded good, but once the fight came to fruition, he got really nervous and didn't want to fight anymore." His excuse and his reasoning was that it wasn't enough money, but truthfully speaking, it was quadruple of what he'd ever made in his career.
Before the fight was signed, it sounded good. Everything sounded good, but once the fight came to fruition, I feel like he got real nervous and didn't want to fight no more.
Stevenson highlighted the financial disparity between what Martin had previously earned and the purse offered for the fight. The number he made in his career was $250K. That fight that he would have fought for $1 million. $250K 4 times would have given you $1 million, and that would have been the most money that he ever made in his career.
Telling you his numbers, but the numbers that he done made in his career was the highest was $250,000. That fight that he would have just fought, he would have fought for a world title.
When Brian Custer suggested that Martin might have pulled out due to the prospect of a bigger fight on the horizon, Stevenson was skeptical. "I don't think fighters want to lose. Deep down inside, he knows that I'm one of the best fighters in boxing. I think when it came down to it, if he was going to take an L, he wanted to make 10 times more than he ever made in his career. I guess 4 times is not enough."
L, he want to make 10 times more than he ever made in his career. So,
Stevenson's frustration was also evident when discussing the difficulty in securing fights against top-tier opponents. "It's very frustrating. I try to make the biggest fights happen," he said. With the Lomachenko situation, this was another guy that was offered the most money than he would have ever made in his entire career to fight me. And he said, "No!" With the Frank Martin situation, he was offered the most money than he would have ever made in his career to fight me, and he said, "No." Honestly, it's very frustrating trying to get these guys in the ring to try and fight me.
I think he pulled out.
I don't think fighters want to lose. I think that deep down inside, he know that I'm one of the best fighters in boxing. And
the issue of being avoided by other fighters is not new in boxing. But Stevenson's case seems particularly, let's call it, more interesting. When asked what it would take to get a marquee fight, Stevenson expressed uncertainty. "I don't know, that's out of my power. I don't know what I got to do to get these guys in the ring. Maybe I got to go out there and have a bad performance. Maybe have a close fight with somebody, and then maybe somebody will get in the ring with me." Another potential blockbuster fight that slipped through the cracks was against Devin Haney. Stevenson's desire to fight Haney was clear, but negotiations fell apart over financial disagreements. "I want to fight. I'm the guy that went into the ring. I'm the guy that went to him. I want the smoke. I want the drama. But he tried to lowball me. He tried to throw something out there that's nothing. It was pennies. In my last 3 fights, I made more money than what he offered me. Since I was offered less, I went another route."
As it almost gave the impression that Shakur was asking for way too much money for this fight. Give me your thoughts on
Stevenson's decision to pursue a mandatory position for the WBC title, which was Haney's belt, underscores his strategic approach to his career. "I went and made myself mandatory for the belt, and I expressed my mandatory position, and now you see me fighting for the vacant WBC title. That's his. I'm fighting for his belt. The world can figure out what really happened."
His power not outrageous.
Okay.
What defense?
You think he got defense?
He just jumped back. You never see him slip no punch. You never see him slip no punch.
Among the potential matchups, a fight against Gervonta "Tank" Davis has always stood out as the pinnacle for Stevenson. He is unequivocal about the significance of this fight. "Tank! Me and Tank is the biggest fight in the world when it happens. I've been saying it, and I'm going to keep saying it. No matter if he wants to go up there and act like he does know my name and he doesn't want to say my name and give me that type of exposure, I don't care. I'm going to tell the truth. Me and Tank is the biggest fight in the world when it happens."
Yeah, boxing.
Yeah.
Me and Tank the biggest fight.
That's the one.
It's the biggest fight in the world.
Yeah.
Like, it's going to be the biggest boxing fight in the world when it happens.
Yeah.
Addressing the critics who argue that Stevenson needs to build his name up to reach Tank's level of stardom, Stevenson firmly disagrees. "I disagree. Look at my numbers. I'm not a guy that goes out and doesn't sell out in arenas. I sell out arenas. I'm doing what I'm supposed to do marketing-wise. I disagree with anybody that has that logic." The interview with Brian Custer sheds light on the often murky waters of boxing negotiations and the challenges fighters face in securing high-profile bouts. Stevenson's situation is emblematic of the broader issues within the sport, where business considerations and financial negotiations can impede the realization of marquee matchups.
Focus. One day he's going to be the best fighter in the world. I see this young man right here being pound for pound #1.
Shakur is good enough to beat anyone you put him in with.
Checks himself down low. Boom.
Oh, big left hand up top.
Stevenson's reflections also extend to the dynamics of weight classes and perceived mismatches. When discussing Terence Crawford's potential fights against Canelo Alvarez and Gervonta Davis, Stevenson echoed the sentiments of these high-profile fighters regarding the impracticality of certain matchups due to weight and size disparities. "What did you think of your big brother Bud, Terence Crawford, when he said he'd like to come up and fight Canelo? I talked to Canelo and he said, 'That's nonsense. What do I get out of that if I fight this guy?' He was also talking about fighting Gervonta Davis, and if Gervonta Davis wanted to come up and fight him at 147, and Bud said, 'I would beat him because he's coming up to my weight division. I'm too big of a guy. What do I get out of beating Gervonta Davis?' And he said the same thing. Canelo said, 'What do I get out of beating Bud Crawford? What do I get out of beating you because I'm too big for you?' Stevenson's campaign for a fight against Tank Davis, despite these dynamics, remained unchanged. His belief in his abilities and his marketing acumen are evident, and he is committed to making the fight happen, regardless of the obstacles.
Like that, homeboy. You not, bro.
I don't know who, I don't know who made you like the god or like to tell me.
And while you already have your thoughts on this, there's also some pros who came in to express their thoughts on the same too. Well, in the aftermath of Gervonta Davis's recent victory over Frank Martin, boxing analysts Paulie Malignaggi and Teddy Atlas offered their perspectives on the fight, Davis's skills, and the potential future matchup against Shakur Stevenson. The bout saw Davis defend his WBA lightweight title with an impressive 8th-round knockout, extending his undefeated record to 30-0 with 28 KOs. This performance not only reinforced Davis's reputation as a formidable puncher, but also showcased his nuanced boxing abilities, leading to high praise from the commentators.
Tank Davis's stock was already up. It was already up. It didn't have to go up more from this fight for me. I was one of the first guys to...
Paulie Malignaggi was quick to acknowledge the mental pressure Davis exerted on Martin throughout the fight. Despite Martin starting strong, it was evident that Davis's psychological tactics were unsettling his opponent. Martin did start well, but you could sense that mental pressure that was being applied by Gervonta Davis was bothering Martin, Malignaggi observed. It was making him uncomfortable. Typically pressure busts pipes, right? Malignaggi highlighted that Davis's approach in this fight differed slightly from his usual pattern of appearing lackluster in the early rounds only to secure a late victory. Instead, Davis maintained consistent pressure from the beginning. In reality, Gervonta never looked uncomfortable going forward and keeping that pressure up, he noted. A lot of times, earlier in these fights, he looks a little lackluster and comes back to get you. I didn't think he was lackluster early on. He was making an effort to put that mental pressure on Martin despite Martin's early success. Teddy Atlas complimented Malignaggi's analysis by emphasizing Davis's underrated fight intelligence and craft. Often overshadowed by his punching power, Davis's technical skills are frequently overlooked. As good as Martin is, there is nothing he did better than Davis, Atlas stated. Anything Martin could do, it is kind of like that song. Anything you can do, I can do better. I really felt that was the theme.
You know, because obviously he's smart, he's technically, responsible with his defense. He's not easy to hit. That's why you had to do it the way Davis did it.
Atlas further elaborated on the technical expertise of Davis, pointing out that despite Martin's textbook skills, Davis matched and surpassed him in every aspect. Martin is a good fighter, Atlas continued. Technical, textbook, boxing 101 sweet science guy. But Davis is too. That is what we forget sometimes because of his power. The discussion inevitably turned to potential challengers for Davis, with Shakur Stevenson being the standout candidate. Stevenson, like Davis, is an unbeaten lightweight, and a bout between the two is viewed as a dream matchup for boxing enthusiasts.
It was a few years ago, not now. Now, I'd like to see, could Shakur Stevenson do his thing? Control and range. You come in 6 inches, he goes back 8.
Stevenson is a difficult out for anyone, Atlas said. He is not just difficult to beat, but difficult to look good against. That's the problem too. He controls range so well. This control of range and defensive mastery makes Stevenson a formidable opponent who can neutralize his adversary's strengths. Malignaggi added an interesting comparison, likening Stevenson to Vasyl Lomachenko, who was once the fighter no top contender wanted to face. Here is my issue. Shakur is the new Lomachenko, Malignaggi said. Before it was Lomachenko, none of the big names wanted to name Lomachenko. This suggests that Stevenson might face similar challenges in securing high-profile fights due to his perceived threat level.
Including elite level guys. Shakur Stevenson would beat Gervonta Davis and he'd make it look pretty easy. I'll tell you what, Gervonta's power is always a wild card, but Shakur Stevenson is way too good.
Malignaggi concluded with a rather cynical view on the state of boxing, expressing doubts about whether the Davis-Stevenson fight would come to fruition despite its appeal. The new fight to make is Gervonta Davis versus Shakur Stevenson, and that is probably why boxing is not going to make it, he remarked, hinting at the sport's often frustrating reluctance to arrange the most compelling matchups. So, do you think this is the case? Share your thoughts in the comment section below, and don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel for more updates. See you in the next one.
But yeah, man, that is the end of the video. Let me know what you guys think about all of this down in the comment section, and overall subscribe for more content, man. But my opinion on this whole situation, let me know what y'all think first and foremost, man. Let me know what y'all think. Do y'all think Gervonta Tank Davis versus Shakur Stevenson is a fight that you would really want to see? You know what I mean? Me personally, I think it would be a good fight. You know what I mean? But overall, I feel like more people would only watch the fight simply because of Gervonta Tank Davis. You get what I mean? Even though I am not saying that Shakur can't really pull a lot of pay-per-views, I'm just saying I think Gervonta Tank Davis would pull majority of the pay-per-views. You know what I mean? People would only want to see that fight simply because of Gervonta Tank Davis. Because right now, the way it's looking, in my opinion, bro, people really don't want to see Shakur Stevenson fight, if I'm going to be 100% honest with you. You get what I mean? But, yeah, man, overall, maybe Shakur just has to fight a few more guys, in my opinion. I don't know, bro, but I don't know what's going to happen. But overall, right now, what it's looking like right now, Vasily Lomachenko has a higher chance of actually getting the Gervonta Tank Davis fight. You get what I mean? Not only is he a great fighter, but he can also pull a lot more pay-per-views than Shakur actually can. You get what I mean? At the end of the day, man, a lot of people don't like that. You get what I mean? They just want to see two skilled fighters go at it. You get what I mean? A lot of people think it's unfair that Shakur can't really get his chance right here, right now, at the moment. You get what I mean? But that's just the way it is. You know what I mean? Like, boxing is basically a business. You get what I mean? It's pretty much a business at the end of the day, man. So whoever pulls the most pay-per-views gets the fight. It only makes sense. You know what I mean? Not only do people want to see the fight, it's going to be a good fight, but, you know, they're both going to make a lot of money from the fight. But overall, not going to do too much talking. I'm just going to end the video here, man. I don't want to go on a yap spree, so let me know what y'all think. And if you did make it to the end of the video, subscribe for more content, and peace out.